What if I told you that For All Mankind just killed off one of its most legendary characters and at the same time set up a massive conspiracy on Mars? Yeah. Episode 3 of For All Mankind Season 5 might actually be one of the most emotional and politically explosive episodes the show has ever done. And if you thought the previous episode was intense, this one raises the stakes even higher. Because while one storyline pushes humanity closer to discovering life on Titan, another slowly reveals a dangerous murder conspiracy on Mars. And right in the middle of all this, we say goodbye to a character who has been part of this journey since the very beginning. So, let's break down everything that happened in For All Mankind Season 5, Episode 3, because there's a lot going on here. Welcome back to your nerdy show. I'm your host, Spoiler Master. The fallout of Lee's escape and the rise of ISN. So, first, let's pick up right where the previous episode left us. Last time, we saw Ed Baldwin risking everything to help his friend Lee Jung-gil escape arrest after being accused of killing Yoon. Now remember, Lee insisted he had nothing to do with the murder, and Ed believed him immediately. No hesitation, no doubts. But the situation on Mars is way more complicated than just proving innocence. Because Lee wasn't just hiding anywhere, he ended up inside the territory of a brand new alliance called the Independent Spacefaring Nations, or the ISN. And this is actually a pretty huge development for the politics of Mars. You see, Mars has basically been controlled by a coalition called the M6, made up of the biggest spacefaring nations. But not everyone was included in that club. Several countries were left out of the deal, and instead of accepting that, they formed their own alliance, the ISN. So now, Mars isn't just a scientific frontier anymore. It's turning into a political battlefield. And one of the biggest reasons behind this tension is iridium, a rare and extremely valuable metal found on Mars. Whoever controls iridium controls the future of space industry. So, when Lee ran into ISN territory, something interesting happened. Instead of handing him over to the M6 authorities, which they easily could have done, the ISN refused. They basically said, yeah, we're not giving him to the wolves. Meaning Lee is safe for now. But Ed's decision to help him escape just made the already fragile situation on Mars even more unstable, and the consequences are only beginning. Now, while all this chaos is happening on Mars, another storyline is pushing humanity toward an even bigger milestone: the search for life on Titan. And the person at the center of that mission is Alita Rosales. Aleida suddenly finds herself under enormous pressure because a rival organization called Kuragan is preparing to launch their own mission to Titan, and they're planning to do it in just 6 weeks. 6 weeks! That's almost nothing in space exploration terms. If Kuragan gets there first and discovers life, they basically win one of the greatest scientific achievements in human history. So, naturally, Aleida starts panicking. She vents her frustration to Margot Madison, hoping there might be some kind of solution. And that's when Margot proposes something that sounds absolutely insane at first. She suggests using Sojourner 1. Now, if you've been watching the show for a while, that name should sound familiar. Sojourner 1 was the first NASA ship designed to land humans on Mars. And here's the crazy part. It was originally designed by a very young Aleida, but there's a huge problem.
The ship has basically been abandoned for 20 years. No one has used it, no one has maintained it. So trying to turn it into a Titan-ready spacecraft is like restoring a car that's been sitting in a garage for 2 decades and then immediately racing it in Formula One. At first, Aleida refuses the idea. But then reality kicks in. There's simply no other option. If they want any chance of beating Kuragan to Titan, they have to revive Sojourner 1. And that means Aleida has to do something she really didn't want to do. She has to go to Mars. Now, here's where the emotional side of the story comes in. Aleida doesn't want to leave her family, her husband, her daughter. Going to Mars means she'll be gone for nearly a year. At first, she convinces herself she can manage everything remotely from Earth. But once she starts reviewing the ship through video feeds, she quickly realizes something. There's no way this will work unless she's physically there. So she talks to her family, expecting them to hesitate. But instead, they surprise her. They encourage her to go, because they understand that this isn't just another mission. This could be the moment humanity discovers alien life. But there's one relationship that makes this decision even harder: her bond with Margot. Their daily 2 p.m. meetings have become a routine, almost like a lifeline between them. And even though Margot clearly doesn't want Aleida to leave, she refuses to hold her back. Sometimes, the people who care about us the most are the ones who push us toward the biggest risks. So, in the end, Aleida makes the leap. She's going to Mars. And if everything works, she might be the person who proves that life exists beyond Earth. Celia's dangerous investigation. Now, let's talk about what might actually be the most suspicious storyline of the episode: the investigation into Yoon's murder, because one character refuses to believe the official story: Celia Boyd. Celia has a gut feeling that something doesn't add up, and the more she looks into it, the more suspicious things become. Her main suspect? Karagan, the same Soviet-backed space corporation competing with Helios. Celia believes Yoon might have discovered something he wasn't supposed to know, and that's what got him killed. And there's actually some evidence supporting her suspicion. Karagan workers have been performing nighttime surface operations on Mars, something they don't even have permission to do. So clearly, they're hiding something. Celia tries to convince Sheriff Palmer to investigate, but instead of taking her seriously, he shuts her down immediately. Why? Because politically, the Mars authorities need Lee to be guilty. Think about it. Ed already helped him escape, and the Sons and Daughters of Mars movement is gaining support. If the authorities suddenly admit they arrested the wrong person, the entire system collapses. So instead of investigating the truth, they're trying to protect stability, and Celia gets warned to drop the case. But of course, she doesn't, because detectives with strong instincts never let things go that easily. So she tracks down a worker named Mahmoud, who last saw Lee and Yoon arguing. Mahmoud confirmed something important. Yes, the two men were upset, but he never heard what they said, which means Lee's supposed motive is still completely unclear. Then things get even more suspicious. Mahmoud works for Karagan. When Celia asks some mysterious cargo containers, he suddenly becomes nervous. He notices someone watching them from a distance and immediately tells Celia to leave. But Celia tries to follow the mysterious man, and that's when everything goes wrong. Someone knocks her unconscious. When she wakes up, she's in a hospital bed. Her colleague Fred tells her she's been placed on 6 weeks of medical leave, which sounds generous on the surface, but it feels more like they're silencing her investigation, because the system clearly doesn't want the truth to come out. And the question now is, who can Celia actually trust? Fred? Sheriff Palmer? Probably not, but there might be one powerful person who could help her: Dev Aisa. And if Celia teams up with Dev, things could get very interesting. The death of Ed Baldwin. Now, we need to talk about the moment that probably hit fans the hardest: the death of Ed Baldwin. For 5 seasons, Ed Baldwin has been the heart and soul of this show. He was there during the earliest days of the space race, commanded missions, built the first Martian settlements, and helped shape humanity's future among the stars. But in this episode, we learn something devastating. Ed has stage 3 cancer. Doctors warned him not to fly anymore because the stress could destroy his lungs, but Ed ignored the warning because protecting Lee mattered more to him than protecting himself. While he's hospitalized, Ed begins reflecting on his past, especially his time during the Korean War, when one of his closest friends died trying to help him. That moment haunted him for decades, and maybe that's why helping Lee mattered so much. This was Ed refusing to lose another friend. Kelly tries to convince him to try experimental therapy, but Ed refuses. He doesn't want chemotherapy. He doesn't want machines keeping him alive. He just wants to spend his final days with family and go out on his own terms. And that leads us to the final scene. Ed is lying in bed, next to his grandson, Alex. Alex always believed he disappointed his grandfather, but someone helps him understand something important. Sometimes, the most meaningful thing you can do for someone is simply be there. So Alex stays with him. He gives Ed a final sip of water, and slowly, peacefully, Ed Baldwin passes away. In his final moments, Ed dreams about his very first space mission, the excitement, the wonder, seeing Earth from orbit for the first time. It's almost poetic. After a lifetime spent reaching for the stars, Ed finally becomes part of them. So what does all of this mean for the rest of the season? Several huge storylines are now in motion. First, the power struggle on Mars between the M6 and the ISN is getting more dangerous. Second, Aleida's mission to revive Sojourner 1 could lead humanity to its greatest discovery, life on Titan. And third, Celia's investigation might expose a conspiracy involving Karagan and the Mars government itself. But perhaps the biggest change is this. With Ed Baldwin gone, Mars has lost its most legendary pioneer. And the question now is, who will step up to fill that void? Because if this episode proved anything, is that the future of Mars is about to become even more complicated. And honestly, I can't wait to see what happens next. So, what did you think about For All Mankind Season 5, Episode 3? Did Ed Baldwin get the ending he deserved? And do you think Celia will uncover the truth about Yoon's murder? Let me know your theories in the comments. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and stick around for more deep dives into For All Mankind and all your favorite sci-fi shows.
No, what the heck, I'll laugh anyway.